The rejection didn't come quietly. It came with laughter still ringing in the air, with lanterns swaying above the packed courtyard, with everyone watching when the Alpha King's voice cut through the night. Enough. The word cracked like a whip. Alina froze mid, her hand still resting on Cassian's, the Alpha King's younger brother when the music died and every head turned. She felt it first, the shift in the air, the sudden pressure that made it hard to breathe. Power, cold ancient. The Alpha King stepped forward. Rowan Blackamore didn't raise his voice again. He didn't need to. His presence alone was command enough. He took Alina by the wrist and pulled her away from his brother, dragging her out of the circle of light and laughter, into the shadow of the oak trees lining the courtyard. People whispered. Wolves watched. Elena stumbled once, barely catching herself before she fell. Rowan didn't slow down. When he finally released her. His grip burned where his fingers had been. Wrong brother. Honey, he said, his voice low and lethal. If you're going to embarrass yourself, at least do it somewhere I don't have to see it. The words hit harder than any slap. Elena's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her chest ached like something inside her had cracked wide open. Cassian's voice floated after them. Confused, half laughing. Rowan, relax. We were just talking. Go back to the party, Rowan snapped without looking at him. Cassian hesitated. Then, slowly, he did as he was told. Alina stood there, heart pounding, humiliation crawling up her throat. She could feel eyes on her even in the dark. She swallowed, lifting her chin because crying here would be worse. I wasn't embarrassing myself, she said quietly. We were talking. Rowan's gaze swept over her like she was something inconvenient he'd stepped in. You were flirting, he said flatly. And you don't flirt with a blackamoor unless you know exactly what you're doing. A bitter laugh escaped her before she could stop it. I didn't realize conversation was forbidden. His eyes flashed then silver fire, sharp and dangerous. You're here because I allowed it, he said. Because your family begged sanctuary, don't forget your place. That did it. Something inside Alina broke cleanly this time. I never asked for your sanctuary, she said, her voice shaking despite her effort. And I never asked to be looked at like I'm disposable. Rowan's jaw tightened. For half a second, just half something unreadable flickered across his face. Then it vanished. Go, he said, before you cause more trouble. She stared at him, stunned. Go where? Anywhere that isn't near my family. The rejection was total. Absolute. Alina turned before he could see her eyes fill. She walked back into the light alone, past the dancers, past Cassian who looked at her with confusion and regret, past wolves who suddenly found the ground fascinating. She didn't stop walking until the pack gates slammed shut behind her. Only then did she let herself cry. The forest swallowed the sound. Alina didn't know how long she walked. Time blurred into footsteps and breath, into the ache in her chest and the sting behind her eyes. She followed the dirt path that wound away from Blackamoor territory, the one she'd memorized over the past 3 months like an escape route she hoped she'd never need. Cold crept into her bones as the night deepened. She wrapped her arms around herself, wishing she'd brought a jacket, wishing she'd never come to the stupid moon festival in the first place. She'd known better. From the moment she arrived at Blackamoor lands, she'd felt it, that constant sense of being out of place. Not unwelcome exactly, just watched, measured, judged. She was the girl whose parents had died in a rogue attack. The girl taken in, out of obligation, the one no one knew what to do with, except Cassian. Cassian had smiled at her like she mattered. He'd listened when she spoke. He'd laughed at her jokes. Danced with her like the world wasn't waiting to snap her up. And Rowan had watched the whole thing like a storm waiting to break. Alina wiped her face roughly, anger sparking beneath the hurt. She had every right to talk to Cassian, to exist, to breathe. She wasn't some pack groupie chasing power. She was just tired. The path forked ahead. One route leading toward the river, the other deeper into the woods. Alina slowed, uncertainty gnawing at her. She'd never gone past the river alone before. Howl echoed in the distance. Her steps faltered. Not a rogue's howl, too controlled, to close. Elena's pulse quickened. She strained her senses, instincts prickling under her skin in a way she didn't fully understand. Ever since the attack that killed her parents, she'd felt off, sharper, more aware, different. Another howl answered the first. Closer. Alina turned toward the river path, heart racing. She didn't hear the footstep behind her until it was too late. A hand clamped over her mouth, yanking her backward. She screamed into the palm, panic exploding through her veins as she thrashed. Quiet. A male voice growled into her ear, or I'll break your neck. Her vision blurred with fear. This wasn't BLACK, this centoil and decay. And blood it didn't belong. Rogue, her instincts screamed. She bit down hard, tasting blood. The hand jerked away with a curse, giving her just enough time to wrench free and run. She didn't make it 3 steps before something slammed into her side, sending her sprawling to the ground. Pain flared as she rolled, dirt filling her mouth. The rogue loomed over her, eyes feral, grin, sharp. Pretty thing wandered too far, he said. Alpha won't miss you. Alina scrambled backward, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Please, she whispered, hating the weakness in her voice. I won't tell anyone. He laughed. You won't tell anyone anything. The shift began. Bones cracked. Fur rippled beneath skin. Alina squeezed her eyes shut and something answered. Heat surged through her veins. White-hot and violent. The ground beneath her trembled. Her breath hitched as a pressure built in her chest. Ancient and furious. The rogue froze mid-shift, eyes widening. What the Alina gasped as silver light flared beneath her skin, racing along her arms, her spine. Power flooded her senses. Raw and uncontrollable. She screamed. The sound wasn't human. The forest exploded with movement. The rogue staggered back, clutching his head, howling in pain. Trees shook. The air itself seemed to bend around her. And then silence. Alina collapsed, darkness swallowing her whole. Rowan felt it, the moment Alina's scream tore through the forest. Something inside him snapped. He was already on his feet before his advisors finished speaking. Power rolling off him in waves. His wolf surged forward, snarling, demanding blood. That was her. Cassian said sharply, color draining from his face. That was Alina. Rowan didn't answer. He was already moving, shifting mid-stride, tearing through the forest at full speed. Branches shattered under his weight as he followed the pull in his chest, a pull he'd been denying for months. Fear clawed at him. Not for the pack. For her. He found the clearing in ruins. Trees scorched black. Earth cracked like it had been struck by lightning. A rogue lay unconscious near the tree line, body twisted wrong. And Alina, she was crumpled in the center of it all, pale and still, silver veins faintly glowing beneath her skin. Rowan shifted back, breath ragged as he crossed the distance in 3 strides and dropped to his knees beside her. Alina, he said, his voice rough. Alina, wake up. He reached for her and stopped. Power radiated from her in slow, steady pulses. Not rogue, not wolf. Something older. Something that made his wolf bow instinctively. Rowan swallowed hard. What are you? He whispered. Her lashes fluttered, breath shallow. For a brief moment, her eyes opened pure silver, reflecting the moon like a mirror. Recognition slammed into him like a fist. Impossible. The legends were clear. The old bloodlines were extinct. Weren't they? Cassian burst into the clearing, skidding to a stop when he saw the devastation. Rowan, what happened? Rowan didn't look away from Alina. Get the healers, he said quietly, and clear this area. No one else sees her like this. Cassian hesitated. Rowan. Now. Cassian nodded and ran. Rowan carefully lifted Alina into his arms. She was lighter than he expected, her body warm against his chest. His grip tightened unconsciously. Regret twisted deep in his gut. He'd pushed her away, humiliated her, sent her into the dark alone, and she'd nearly died because of it. As he carried her back toward Blackamoor lands, Alina stirred, brow furrowing, her lips parted. Wrong brother, she murmured weakly, tears slipping from the corners of her eyes. I won't make that mistake again. The words cut deeper than any blade. Rowan clenched his jaw, holding her closer as the pack lights came into view. No, he said softly, more to himself than to her. The mistake was mine. High above them, the moon burned bright and unforgiving, and something ancient, long buried, began to wake.